Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Peachy from the Marine Science class of Wisconsin Connections Academy. Today we are going to be going through the portfolio from Unit 3, Lesson 5, Positive Human Impact Activity. And this particular portfolio, is dealing with how we can, or citizens can, affect the environment, the ecosystems in a good way. We oftentimes talk about a lot of the harmful practices that exist, but what can we do to both preserve what's already out there and not cause damage to something that is in its pristine condition, to use the resources that are available in a sustainable way, and to, kind of restore conditions to what they may have been previously if damage has already been done. So that's kind of the definition of those three different types of efforts. We can preserve, or preservation, if there is an ecosystem that has not been spoiled by human activity, to make sure that it stays that way. We can conserve. There are a lot of resources that we need to get from the oceans, but we can do it in a way in which it's not going to have a negative effect on that resource. And we can restore resources or ecosystems that have been damaged in the past from human activity. So what you're going to be doing is finding three different efforts or causes, describing them, naming them, and then determining whether they are efforts of preservation, conservation, or restoration, and why you think so. Probably the best thing to use is the template that goes along with this. And if you click in the lower right corner, you'll see the link for template. And here is that template, and it's really pretty simple to use. A minimum of 3 different efforts. Don't forget your resources, okay? Name of the effort. This section, the focus of the effort, should be pretty long. This is you describing what that effort is. What do they do? What is their mission? This should be in your own words, so don't copy like mission statements and stuff from their websites. This is you determining whether you think it's conservation, restoration, and preservation. And keep those definitions in mind. Remember, conservation means to use a resource sustainably. Restoration means you're trying to bring something back. And preservation is when you're trying to keep it in its current state. Explanation of why does it fit this type? So this again is a section where you need to explain your reasoning for picking conservation, restoration, or preservation. And finally, why did you choose this effort? What about this effort appeals to you? Why is this effort important? Why is what they are doing something that's beneficial to people or to that particular resource? So I like you to pick resources that are already in existence. Rather than trying to come up with your own efforts or make things up, it's easier if you can kind of come up with things that are already happening. I have a list of different websites that you can look at on my website, one of which is the Georgia Aquarium, which does a lot of conservation and restoration type efforts. Okay, so their website here, again, I have that link on mine, and you can see that they have a link right on their homepage for research and conservation projects. So if we click on this, it can bring us to another link for research and conservation. Okay, so look at here, we have a link already for conservation. And it defines what conservation is, and it will talk about different projects and stuff that they have available. Whoops, got ahead of myself a little bit there, sorry about that. They have rescue and rehabilitation. Okay, talking about rescuing California sea lions, rehabilitating sea turtles, or rescuing southern sea otters. And they have a sidebar here as well. It gives you further links to more information on those. Okay. There's a link on the side to a couple different projects, Conservation Field Station and the Seafood Savvy. So those are another couple projects you can look at. Another resource is the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Okay, so this one's also on there. And you can see here they have quite a few different projects. You can be a citizen scientist, which is a good thing because that can show how you or another citizen could be involved in some of these efforts. Oh. And then there's a link here on conservation. And you can see here, I'm going to scroll over just a little bit. You can see how they have freshwater programs, saltwater programs, terrestrial programs, special initiatives. They have coastal wildlife, Florida Bird Conservation Initiative. So lots of different things here. Wildlife Legacy Initiative. Another one that I found was the Department of Natural Resources in Florida. And this is their site map, which, oh, actually, excuse me, this is the Department of Environmental Protection in Florida. This was their site map. And as you scroll on their site map, they have a couple of different conservation efforts here. They also have other things, remember, that we're not just looking at conservation, but preservation and restoration as well. And so as you scroll through here, you'll notice that there are a number of different, there's a wetlands program, for example. Greenway and trails. You can kind of scroll here and look at some of the programs that are available in Florida. Florida being obviously a very coastal state since they're surrounded on 3 sides by the coast. And finally, another resource that is nice to use is the Scripps Institute of Oceanography in San Diego. These guys do a lot of research and are really kind of a world-renowned institute in oceanography. This article I thought was pretty interesting. This highlights the effect of microplastics on ocean life, something that you guys might not know a lot about. So you can read and see what research they're doing on microplastics and why microplastics are harmful. The other thing that they had, where is that one? So here is their kind of a link that I came across from them. You can see some of these programs here, the California Coastal Program, Citizen Science, and the fishes here, Sustainable Local Seafood, Shark Conservation, Gulf of California Marine Program, Small Scale Artisanal Fishery Research Program, and then the Intertidal Zone program here. So lots of different programs available. So just pick 3 of these. Try to find 3 that you find interesting. Again, you're going to fill out this template, explain the name of them, what do they focus on in your own words. That's going to be kind of a lengthy section here. Is it conservation, restoration, or preservation? Why do you think it fits that type? Again, that part will be pretty lengthy as well. And why did you choose this? Not only why is it interesting to you, but what benefit does this program have on in terms of resources, or in terms of helping people, or in terms of helping wildlife. So that's pretty much it. Make sure you include your resources. If you have any